Hello, grade 8. Welcome to today's lesson. Remember, we are still continuing with the Industrial Revolution in Britain and Southern Africa. So we started on the 1st of July, and then we moved to on the 2nd of July. So we're just continuing with the same topic. Remember, this week we're doing history, and then next week we'll be doing geography. Okay, the objective is changes during the Industrial Revolution in Britain and the beginning of the Industrial Revolution in South Africa, brought about by diamond mining and Britain's increasing interest in South Africa. So that is the objective of today's lesson. Okay, and then we recap on the previous lesson, what we did in the previous lesson. So we looked at the brief description of political settlement, endangered labor from India to work on sugar plantations in British colony of Natal. That's what we did in the previous lesson. So it's simply for the description of political settlement. You remember we looked at the colonies and kingdoms that were found in South Africa. And then we looked at the endangered laborers. Those were coming from India to do forced labor on their sugar farms in Natal. That's what we looked at in the previous lesson. Okay, and then we want to revise the previous activity. So remember there was source one, and then there was source 2. The reason why is in small font, I was trying to just combine source 1 and source 2. We're just revising, remember. Let's read the source again. Let's start with source 1. African farming in the 1860s. This passage tells how Black Africans were self-sufficient in the 1860s and didn't need to work for whites to earn an income. African farmers in Natal were able to produce enough crops for trade. They therefore had no need to work on the unattractive terms offered by white farmers and planters. Taxes and rents were paid out of sale of foodstuffs. 40 years later, an early settler remembered that in the 1860s, if we wanted supplies, we would take a wagon and ox and go into the location or district where the natives were. We used to buy corn for our supplies from the natives. So that was source 1. And then source 2, Not Slave, Not Free. That's the title. This passage describes the endangered system and why people signed endangers. Many people endangered themselves in return for the chance to emigrate, to leave the country where they were born, and to settle elsewhere. This followed on the heels of the age of exploration. While the nations of Europe were acquiring colonies, the idea arose that people who were unemployed at home should be resettled where their labor could be used. Britain was the first country to practice endangered immigration on a large scale. During the 17th and 18th centuries, thousands of poor men and women endangered themselves to persons who paid their passage money to the British colonies in North America. When they arrived there, they worked as servants for a small wage, or no wage at all, for a set number of years. If they survived, they were then free to farm or to start a business of their own. So those were the two sources. So we're going to answer the questions now. Question 1. Explain why Africans in Natal did not need to work for white farmers. What was the reason for the Africans in Natal not to work for white farmers? So the answer, they were able to produce enough crops for trade. So they were producing their own crops. So that is the reason why they didn't need to work for white farmers. So that was question 1. Question 2, how did Africans survive? They paid taxes and rent from the money they made selling crops. So they paid taxes and rent from the money they made selling crops. So that was question 2. Question 3, explain what you understand by the following terms. A, endangered laborers. So those were workers who labored for a period of time in exchange for passage to the colony. They were called endangered laborers. And what are immigrants? People who leave their country to live permanently in another country. So just correct your work there for question 3. Question 4, how did endangered laborers gain their freedom? They would be set free to farm or start their own businesses after a certain period of time of working. So that is how they gain their freedom, those endangered laborers. At a certain period of time, they will be released and then they will start their own businesses. Question 5, explain the title of the extract in source 2. Not slave, not free. What does it mean to you? Which answers did you write? You just compare with my answers here. Firstly, they were not slaves if they worked for a small wage. So they were not slaves. Remember, not slave. We'll explain this. They were not slaves as they worked for a small wage. What about not free? They were not free as they had to work for an agreed period of time before they could be free. So that was the meaning of the title, not slave, not free. Okay, and then I gave you key terms to research. This way, number one, Bloemfontein Convention. It was a convention signed in 1854 where Great Britain formally recognized the independence of the Boers in the area between the Orange and Vaal rivers. This resulted in the formation of the Orange Free State. So this convention was signed in Bloemfontein in 1854, whereby Great Britain gave independence to the Boers who were living in the area of Orange and Vaal rivers. So that is the Free State of today. De Beers, a family of companies that dominated the diamond mining sectors. It was called the De Beers Company. Diamond Corporation. This was a corporation formed in 1930 to control the production and marketing of diamonds. It was called Diamond Corporation. So those were the three terms you were supposed to research on. And then for today's topic, as you can see, is revision of term 1. We're going to look at diamond mining in Kimberley, 1867 onwards. Do you know where Kimberley is in South Africa? In the Northern Cape. So there was diamond mining that was happening from 1867. So we're going to look at 3 subtopics. Why diamonds are valuable. Number 2, British takeover of diamond-rich land in Griqualand West. Number 3, diamond mining and the development of a monopoly. So those are the topics that we're going to look at. Let's start by looking at why diamonds are valuable. They are the most precious of all natural substances. Their hardness makes them valuable for use in industrial cutting, drilling, and polishing tools. So you can see they are very precious. They are also rare as they represent exclusivity and wealth. So if you are owning diamonds, you are a very wealthy person because they are very, very precious and valuable. So these diamonds were being mined in Kimberley. And then we look at the British takeover of diamond-rich land in Griqualand West. So remember the British who were colonizing South Africa. They took over the diamond mines. So Britain declared that Griqualand West was to become a full British colony. The reason why they wanted to take all the diamonds that were there. The purpose was to force the Griquas people to sell their mineral rights. So that was their main agenda behind that. So they wanted the area to be a British colony, and then to force those people, the Griquas people who were living there, to sell their mineral rights. And then we look at diamond mining and the development of a monopoly. So the discovery of diamonds and the development of a diamond mining monopoly started the Industrial Revolution in South Africa. I want you to do something for me. Research the word monopoly. Research the word monopoly. Just find out what does it mean. It's always good to learn new words as you are learning. That is what is called learning. You learn new things every day. So research on the word monopoly and then find out the meaning. So it started the Industrial Revolution in South Africa. Mining rule allowed one person to have one claim of 10 square meters. So those people who were claiming the areas, each person was supposed to have one claim of 10 square meters. Riots occurred as whites attacked African or Asian claim holders. So there were conflicts between the white people and the African and the Asian, which led to riots occurring. Cecil John Rhodes and Bani Banato formed diamond mining company called De Beers Consolidated Mines. You've heard about Cecil John Rhodes and Bani Banato. So those two, they found the diamond mining company called the De Beers. An agreement led to the formation of Diamond Corporation in 1930. So that is what was happening in the mining area in South Africa, in the Northern Cape. So the British were clever at that time. They took over the area. They wanted to, because they discovered diamonds, so they wanted to own the land and take those diamonds. So remember to research on the word monopoly. Okay, your homework for today. Let me just show you the activity. This is your homework. Diamond mining in Kimberley, 1867 onwards. Number 1, define the following terms. A, capitalism. B, monopoly. C, industrialization. And then on number 2, write a paragraph explaining the role played by Cecil John Rhodes and Bani Banato in the mineral revolution in South Africa. Write a paragraph explaining the role played by Cecil John Rhodes and Bani Banato in the mineral revolution in South Africa. So you're going to answer those 2 questions there for homework. So if you're writing down, quickly write. Okay, I think you're done now. If you've got any questions, those are my details. The second email, that is my email. This one is mine, and this one is for the school. If you've got any questions, you can send me an email. It was nice teaching you grade 8. Remember, next lesson, next week, we're going to do geography. Take care and do your work, do your homework. Don't be lazy. It doesn't pay to be lazy. Okay, so be safe and take care.